Namaste. Yesterday, I received a tweet from somebody who had asked about the book on remedial measures on Nadi astrology. I was glad to share him all the details of the particular book. Now he started advising me that all remedial measures are bad. And he sent the video of Mr. K.N. Rao saying that remedial measure should not be charged and whatever you do in the name of remedial measure is fake. Now I try to explain the guy about the remedial measure. The point was he was not willing to listen. He said, I have lost a lot of money in Nadi astrology also. All I believe is Vishnu Sahasranama and Dana part of it across. Now, let me make it very, very clear. I have met K.N. Rao. I had met him around 20 years back. The problem is, now K.N. Rao belongs to the school of B.V. Raman. They belong to the Nehruvian era of looking astrology as a scientific thing. And they have a very sadistic tendency of making people that is nothing can be done, your suffering is like that. Now this is the problem with all these people. Astrology has evolved. Astrologers evolve. Astrological techniques evolve. You cannot simply stamp and simply say, this is the end of it across. In Kerala, there are many people who do remedial measures across. Now, let me give an example of mine why I started believing in remedial measure. There was a lady by name Mala. I used to call her Mala Mami. Her son had problems with cancer. And she was the disciple of Natarajan Sharma who had Parashura Nadi. Her guru used to do a lot of remedial measure with people. For example, she told me an example of a guy who had a sun and Ketu across from Mesha Lagna. 48 days, Rudram Chamakam was chanted across and that guy had a child. So this lady's son had a cancer issue. So I was looking at it, Vrichika Lagna, 8th was Rahu, what was meant to happen will happen and all that thing. She went ahead and did the remedial measure. Her son recovered completely. In fact, he is still alive today. It turned me on. It really turned me on. My brother was having psychiatric issue. I had gone and met a so-called saint, Swami Shantananda, who told nothing can be done. It is fate. You are meant to endure it. Karma cannot be resolved. Now, after this, I started searching for the answers. I found that the Nagar Puja helped him a lot. In fact, I started doing the Nagar Puja. He has recovered to a very large extent. Of course, it was done for more than 10 years across. And the guy had almost become normal. He was having schizophrenia, depression, suicidal tendencies. It had all come down. His face has improved. His complexion is improved. He's able to get along very well with people across. And it has been a miraculous change across. So, first and the foremost, Mr. K.N. Rao should say, it is my opinion on remedial measure. Since he is in a position of authority, He cannot be simply spouting certain things saying that remedial measure, whoever does remedial measure are all fraud. There is a perverse argument these people take. They take one or two remedial measure which has failed and they try to highlight it. It is like telling Sachin Tendulkar will have to score 100 runs each innings. The remedial measures are done without research, hearsay, and it has been a Vak tradition. So obviously it will have a certain amount of limitation across. Now saying all remedial measures are bad, it's like telling all karma kanda is bad. Astrology, actually, after the independence, the B.V. Raman school of astrology did not want to promote remedial measure because it will lead to controversy. He created ICAS, Indian Council of Vedic Astrology, and he made people talk about astrological concept. Though his own grandfather had practiced remedial measure. In fact, I had written a book on remedial measure. I have put classes on remedial measure, and these remedial measure techniques are very well clearly explained. It is based on Bhrigu Nandinadi. We have had so much of success across with regard to the remedial measure. The problem is it is bias, it is prejudice, it is over expectation. Mr. K.N. Rao has to stop this on remedial measure. He will kill the tradition of temple. In Kanchipuram, there is a temple called Vazhakatteeswarar, one who solves the court cases across. Meenakshi Amman temple has been used time immemorial for marriage. So remedial measure has been part of this tradition. Though there is no books are available in the remedial measure, I had put a very clearly a detailed explanation on remedial measure. The problem with people is they think old people are correct. The rest of the people are wrong. It is not true. Astrology has evolved. In my experience, I found that the remedial measure has a place in the astrology. Upaya has a place in the astrology. And I have seen all these astrologers. They are certain people who exploit, but that could be a very, very minuscule part of the thing. Just like there are bad doctors, there are bad contractors, just simply telling anybody who does a remedial measure is wrong. For example, Rahu Ketu remedial measure I have done so many times to people. It has produced a miraculous result. There was a lady who was in love with a cousin. The people gave me, it was Rahu Ketu was afflicted. Along with the seventh lord, we did the puja and the lady released and she went on to do her PhD across. Like this, I can give you umpteen number of examples of success stories. And please understand that dana has a principle behind it. Dana has to be given for events. I met one very rich guy from Kenya who asked me how dana should be given. I said, give it for marriage. Give it for the childbirth. It will make a huge difference into the people's life across. Now, without understanding the dana principle, people give dana as food. People give it to old age home. One of my students actually asked me another principle of dana. I told him, give it to people whom you see, whom you interact, whom you have reciprocal communication. In fact, it will make a huge difference into it. So dana has a principle. Remedial measure has a place. Please buy the book and go through the class and you can have a better understanding of remedial measure across. It does not mean, for example, there was a girl and a man whom I know for 20 years. After marriage, they were fighting. They were about to be divorced. We did the remedial measure. We did the remarriage using the Muhurta principle, and it made all the difference. So knowing the Muhurta principle is very, very important part of the remedial measure. You have to start the puja in the good time. You have to do the homa in the good time. You have to do the remarriage in the good time. Without knowing this, people try to talk about the remedial measure across. Please understand, these people are quacks, half-baked. They are telling out of their limited experience and they are biased. I have a lot of respect for K.N. Rao, but in this matter, I would like to have a strong difference of opinion with him and even with Narasimha. Narasimha has put a big software. It does not mean they understand about the remedial measure. Remedial measure are form level technique, energy level technique. For example, Upavasa, Mauna, putting the head shaving is all part of the remedial measure. It is done with a particular purpose. The strength of the karma depends on the kind of remedial measure you have to do. So it is like going and telling the doctor, anyway the patient is going to die, why you are treating? Anyway everybody is going to die, why you are treating? The point is, remedial measure will give relief, will give what you call hope, will be able to solve basic problems, will be able to generate link, will be able to generate solution. There are a variety of usage in the remedial measure. So please understand that. Don't get carried away by these people. Thank you.